Hello friends, this class we'll be talking about the fundamental things in a C program. So first let us look at what is C language, and then history of C language. Then we'll look at the characteristics and uses of C, and at last tokens in C. Let us look at each of them individually and let us understand what they are. So let us start the C language by understanding or by knowing why should we study C language. Okay, so C is the fundamental and foundational language for the beginners. If you are a beginner to the programming world, first you should learn the C language because this is the fundamental language. So this C language came into the world very first before any other language. So I mean talking about the high level languages, right? So C is the basic fundamental language. This is an easy language, anybody can learn the C language. So if you once you become an expert in C language, you will not find any language difficult. Okay, so C++, C Sharp, Java, JavaScript and many other languages have incorporated the syntaxes and many features from C. Okay, so apart from C language, there are plenty of languages out there in the world. So all or most of the languages follow the most of the syntaxes what we have in C language. So if you know the things in C, so you will find any other languages very easy. Okay, so you will not find difficulties in writing programs in any other languages because all languages follow most of the features of C. Major parts of the Windows, Unix and Linux are still written in C. So that means C is also used for system level programming. So most programs in the operating system are still used in C because C has many features like we have the functions that operate on the bits, so we can perform the bit level operations in the C language. That is why it is very useful for system level programming. So that is what I said here. C is also used for the system level programming, which means we can manipulate the bits. Device drivers of new devices are always written in C language. Lots of job opportunities for experts in C programming. Once you become an expert in C language, coding the C programs, you will find a lot more job opportunities so that you can make more and more money. So become an expert in C, keep watching all the classes. So what is C then? What exactly C language means? Let us look at that. So C is a high level general purpose structured programming language. In the last class we have learned the different generations of programming. So there I discussed about high level and low level languages. So C belongs to the high level language category because C uses the English like statements, English like sentences in it. So that is why it is called a high level language. General purpose means you can use the C for wide variety of problem solving. It is structured programming language as well. Structured programming means you can divide a big C program into smaller parts called functions. That is why it is called structured programming language. You can make you can build structures in the C language. So the word structured programming language. So this is the standard definition for C language. If somebody asks you what is C, just say C is a high level general purpose structured programming language. So let's moving on. And the C was developed or say invented by Dennis Ritchie. So he's the scientist who developed the C language at AT&T T Bell Laboratories USA in the year 1972. So remember the year and the inventor of C language. His name is Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972. So these are the basic fundamental questions that you can expect in the interviews. C is not designed for specific applications areas. So that means C is a general purpose language, you can say, because it is not specially meant for any specific area. You can use the C language in any application areas, like if you want to build softwares for your college, you can use the C. Restaurants, hotels, airlines, ticket booking, railway stations, hospitals. So you can use the C programming anywhere you want, almost all the areas in the world. So C language is well suited for business and scientific applications. So now let us study the history of C. So how C came into the world. So just look at the table, you will get the idea of the years of invention of different languages. And look at the second row, gives you the first ever language. It is called ALGOL. ALGOL is an abbreviation for algorithmic language, which is the first programming language, you can say high level programming language, or the ancestor of C, which is developed in 1950s and 60s, between 50 and 60s, you can say, by an international group. After a few years, a language called BCPL, stands for Basic Combined Programming Language, was developed by Martin Richards in the year 66 and 67. Then came the language B in 1970, developed by Ken Thompson. So B language, they were calling the language as B language, which is the successor of BCPL. Okay, so all the languages have some or the other loopholes. That is why they led to the invention of new language. And in the 1972, in the year 1972, C was developed by Dennis Ritchie. So C was originally invented to write an operating system called Unix. You all might have heard the operating system or software called Unix. So Unix was originally written by using C language. So C was that old. The language was formalized in 1988 by the American National Standard Institute, which is in short called as ANSI. So that is why the name ANSI. On some websites or the books you will find the word ANSI. That is because the ANSI, or American National Standard Institute, which is a standards making institute, made the C and its syntax as standard worldwide. So by then, if anybody wants to develop a C compiler, which translates the C programs into machine language, has to follow the rules and syntaxes that made standard in the ANSI C. So that is how it is formalized in 1988. C programs are normally typed in text editors like Notepad or directly in the C compilers. Okay, you can use, if you are a Windows person, you can use the Notepad for typing C programs, or you can write C programs directly in C compilers. You can find plenty of C compilers on the internet. In the later classes, we'll learn how to run a C program in a C compiler. So there are plenty of options available for us to write the C programs. A C program can vary from 3 lines to millions of lines, and it should be written into one or more files with extension .c. So that is how the operating system recognizes the C files. So .c is an extension for the C language files. For example, hello.c. Hello is the file name that you've given to your program, and .c is the extension for that file. So a C program may varies from 3 to 4 lines to millions of lines. So you can think of a complexity of a program by that. Now let us discuss about the characteristics of C. So C is a popular language due to its rich set of built-in functions. C has a standard library where you can find hundreds of C built-in functions. That means you don't need to write programs for every other operations in your C. You can just go to the library and get the functions out there in the library. So we are just going to call the functions in the library and we'll get our work done. So C has a rich set of built-in functions. Okay, programs written in C are efficient and faster. This is due to its variety of data types and powerful operators, which we'll be covering later in the classes. C is a portable language. That means C programs written for one computer can be run into another computer without any manipulation in the program. All you need is a C compiler. So once you have a C compiler in any computer, you can easily run a program written in any other computer. C language is a highly flexible language, very easy to understand by users. It can be used for developing system softwares as well. So flexible means, as I said, it is well suited for wide varieties of problems. C is a structured programming language because we're going to divide the entire C program into smaller parts called modules, which we'll be covering in the later classes. Like we're going to know what is a module and how to divide a program into modules and functions, everything. This modular structured programming is easy for debugging, testing, and maintenance. Think about a big problem. If you're going to solve a big problem as a whole, you'll find difficulties, right? So when you divide a big problem into a smaller parts, it is easy for debugging. Debugging means checking for the errors and testing and maintenance. C has the ability to extend itself, means that we can add our own sub functions, or we can add our own sub programs or functions to the main C program. So now let's get into the very important concept in C, that is tokens. You must all understand the tokens first. This is very important topic in the C language. C tokens are the basic building blocks in C language which are constructed together to write a C program. These are called the building blocks of a C program. Before you're going to write a program in C language, you must understand the vocabulary of C language. So that is what C tokens are. C tokens are like vocabulary for C language. They are the building blocks. Each and every smallest individual units in a C program are known as C tokens. The smallest individual unit in a program is called as a token. Let us look at this example. It's a small main function where you can find tokens. Can you see the line int a, b, total? Int is a token, a, b and total are the tokens, and the semicolon is also a token. So using all the tokens together, we're going to build a function. So let us look at the different tokens in C language. So these are the 5 major tokens, or you can call the components of C language. First, the character set, then the constants, keywords, operators and variables. First, you must need to understand all of these concepts because we are going to use these in our future programs. First, let us the character set of C language. As we are English speakers, we have a alphabet in English language, right, which is from A to Z. So likewise, character set consists of alphabets of C language. C language uses 2 types of cases: uppercase, which are capital letters from A to Z, capital A, capital B until capital Z, and lowercase, small a, small b up to small z. We can use any alphabet, maybe uppercase or lowercase, while writing a C program, and digits as well. So digits from 0 to 9, you can use any combination of digits while programming. And special characters are also available for us, as you can see. So these are the special characters. You can store them in the variables, or they have the predefined functions assigned to them. So we are going to use them according to their functions. So these are the special characters. You can use them as constants, store in a variable. And next, the constants. Constants are literals which are not going to change their values in any point of the program. So constants, first look at the numerical constants. Numerical constants are numbers. They include integers and real numbers, positive or negative. For example, -8 is a number, is a numerical constant. 100, 5000, 1.27, 85.2525, all are numerical constants. Likewise, you can take any number and you're going to call that as a numerical constant in C language. And we also have the character constants. A is a constant, capital A is a constant, dollar symbol is a constant, plus is a constant. That means they have the fixed value, fixed name to them. They're not going to change their values or names anywhere in the program. And string constants, string is a group of characters and should be enclosed within the double quotes. Character enclosed in a single quote, and string constants are enclosed within the double quotes. See, look at the first word, gem. It is a string, a group of 3 characters. Next, the word actor, group of 5 characters. Cricket, group of 7 characters. So a string means you can have uppercases, lowercases together, or only uppercases or only lowercases as well. So remember, characters are enclosed in single quote and strings are enclosed in double quotes. And next, the keywords. Keywords are the reserved words. So there are 32 keywords in C language, and they all are reserved for specific purpose, for special operation. So these are the 32 keywords that we're going to use in the C program. So these keywords are very important. Without the keywords, we cannot write a program. Each and every keyword in a C language has a special meaning, has a special purpose. We should not use the keywords for any other purpose other than the task assigned to it. Okay. Next, the operators. So operators are for operations. Let us look at the types of operators. So these are the unary operators, a pair of plus and a pair of minus. So there are two unary operators, plus plus and minus minus. Plus plus is called as increment operator and minus minus as decrement operator. In our future classes, we are going to use them and you will understand exactly what they are. And the equal symbol is called as assignment operator in C language. So equals doesn't have the literal meaning in C language. In the mathematics, we use it for equality, but here we call it as assignment operator because we are going to use the equality operator when we assign something to something. Arithmetic operators. So these are the basic arithmetic operators: addition, plus for addition, minus for subtraction, star for multiplication, forward slash for division, and a percent symbol for modulus operation. So there are three logical operators: logical AND, logical OR, and logical NOT, which we'll be using in performing logical operations. So these are the relational operators: lesser than, greater than, lesser than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and double equal symbols represent the equality in C language. If you put doubles equal symbols, that means the meaning of double equals is equality. Single equal symbol is for assignment, and the last symbol for not equal representation. And these are the shorthand operations that reduces the length of the expression, which we'll be covering in the next classes. And this is the conditional operator, which does a special operation in C language. Later in the classes, we'll be learning all these operators used in the program. And last part of the tokens is variables. So you might have heard the word variable, right? Variable, which means which varies its value. So take a look at this sentence or this statement in C language: int a comma b ended by a semicolon. So this is a statement in C. So here a and b are variables. That means you can store any integer value in a and b. That is what int means. So a and b are variables which can hold any integer value, but there is a range for integer values to store. This is another statement which has two variables. One is salary, another is height. So these two are floating type variables. That means you can store real numbers in these two variables. So that is what float means. So if you want to store numbers with decimal values, use the keyword float. Next, the variable name of length 20 characters. So that is what char means here. Name, the variable name of 20 characters can hold a string consisting of 20 characters. So friends, in this session we have learned the basics of C language, advantages and characteristics of C language, and at last the tokens of C language.